Hey, this is Mike. Welcome to the ride.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dungeon Studios of the Ride. If you're new to this channel, so am I. Uh, the reason for doing this channel is that after selling everything we had and deciding to purchase a small home and some hunting land, we decided to uh, deer management habitat consultant to try to grow big bucks on our property. After decades of floundering around on public property, couple of I could hunt the edges from public onto some private property with permission from some locals. But as we all know, the typical rural living is not the most prosperous, and you never have time and money at the same time. And then when outside forces are conspiring against you as far as how deer herds are managed, it was pretty slim pickings. So yeah, after 35 years, 40 40 years of messing around with only a chance at a handful of bucks. I mean, trophy, what I would consider trophy bucks. We did decide to finally purchase some property at an elevated age. So when we did do this and we hired a consultant, um, a lot of people that, friends, family, coworkers, when you're talking to them about it, uh, they had a lot of questions or wondering why we did this and how'd you afford to pay for that and is it really this easy? And a lot of people are on family properties where it's grandpa owns it yet, or dad and his uncles have it, or your mom and her brother have it, or some combination of families are hunting on property, and you can get half a dozen people, 15 people hunting on 40 acres or 80 acres or the 120 acres, field up, like I said, up in northern Wisconsin. And nobody has the unilateral authority to go ahead and do something like this. So it's always a community owned, community ran, kind of family owned property. But anyways, as they were talking to us, you can tell there was a lot of intrigue and wondering what we were doing and how we're doing it. And especially when you go to pay a couple $1,000s for a consultant to come into your property, which, like, the people I hang around with don't do, and I have never done up till this point. But we thought maybe there's a little niche of something we could do to kind of bridge that gap between when a consultant gives you a plan and actually seeing somebody trying to implement it, and maybe that would give you a little confidence of going, well, if that idiot can do it, so can I. So we're gonna film for a few months. Maybe if everything works out, we'll try to see if you guys want to follow along from our our hunting property. If you want to follow that from the beginning, and then see if I would say 5 years out to 5 to 9 after the cutting and stuff to see if it if we can grow big bucks. The average guy, I'm not a professional at anything. I've never planted anything besides a little garden before. The chemicals and when to plant, all it was all new to me. So hunting, I can do planting, knowing what trees to cut, what trees to plant, what you know fruit trees, and when things should be planted. That's all new to me. So I don't mind doing some work, but the learning process, especially as you get a little bit older, the mental part of it is definitely the hardest part, I think. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's a little bit of the physical part too. So what we're going to do is try to stick out a bunch of little videos. What it is we're only less than a year into the plan, and I'm going to say because we just logged, it was the beginning of the 2025 year. So now it's actually New Year's Eve. It's going to be 2026 tomorrow. So it's less than a year since we had it logged. We only had the one spring where we had the regeneration growth. So we figure what we'll do is we'll do a bunch of little videos, bringing everybody up to speed up to where we're at. And that's going to be videos on, how we picked a consultant and why, where we made mistakes. That's going to be, how do you get a forester and a logger, and what do they want, and how do they do things, and how we went, why we went with this property, and then how, every little thing that, all these, very knowledgeable, very good at their job consultants do for your deer management properties. To them, it's just mundane stuff. They've done it thousands and thousands of times, some of them. So they have a very much of a routine that they're used to doing, and it's just very easy for them. So for people when they're the first time doing it, it's like, it's a lot, right? So then how do we thought about going through it, how it helped us when we were going through it, and then maybe showing you guys that probably a few mishaps along the way, have a little bit of fun, because every ride should be fun, right? So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Talk to you again soon. Just want to make a quick video to get everybody up to date on why we purchased the property that we did. And of course, number one was the price. Number two was because of learned knowledge while researching everything. And number three was the potential that this property has for growing big bucks. So number one, the price. The family kind of voted. We wanted to buy as much property as possible for us to roam freely and to enjoy, and still have money left over to economically be able to afford to do the changes that we wanted to make it a hunting property. Learn knowledge, a couple of things, like say growing up on public property, most hunters know that deer like edges, whether that's inside edge or outside edge. They want cover and feeding areas and transit ways and bedding areas and all that stuff. But two things I didn't really think about before, never worried about, was one was food. So we made sure that there was a field of some kind, or at least a grassy flat area. What was what we were looking for? Anything that we could convert easily into food to be able to influence a deer herd. This one just happened to have a field on it, but we definitely wanted something that we didn't have to cut trees, take stumps out, in major cost to make a field. So as a big seller. And the other thing I never had to worry about was elevation. So on here, from the highest point on our property is on this tip of this field, and by the time we get down over here into the swamp, that's a 60-foot drop. And again, from research, while I was sitting on the couch recuperating from my treatments and stuff while I had time, I learned a little bit of stuff. So we got elevation change, 60 feet. We have a big enough destination food plot that we can influence the deer herd with. And then we have edges. So around the field is just kind of this grassy, tall, grassy, weedy area, kind of a little bit of a willow brush edge. But then this is all hardwoods. 99% of it is oak and maple. Okay, I lied, 80%. And then it gets over to here, we have a wetland area with some trees in it that lose their leaves. I'm not an arborist. And it gets down to here where it gets a little wetter, and then this is all cedar swamp. And then it comes back up to highland again over here, and this is all hardwoods again. And then we have maybe a 30-yard wide kind of hemlock grove along that, which is kind of cool. So we have all these different edges, different habitats, different tree species. We have cover, we have acorns, we have, you name it. So that's why we picked this property.